Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adamo Baseball, where I'm your host, Adamo. And in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down Rocco Baldelli. Let me make sure I'm saying his name right. Baldelli. Wow, I feel really bad now. Rocco Baldelli. So, this is actually kind of an interesting story because while a lot of people really won't know about his playing career, it does have some interesting aspects to it. And I'm actually more interested in his playing career than I am in his managerial career, in spite of the fact that he's been a successful manager thus far. So, starting from the top, as per usual, he was born 25 September 1981 in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I don't know if I said that right, but I'm going to pretend that I did. So, even from his playing days as a kid, like in high school, he already had a lot of expectations surrounding him. Like a lot. When he was 12 years old, he played on the AAU baseball team where they went to the national national regionals, I think. And even then, he was already drawing comparisons to Joe DiMaggio. The article I was reading, they're like, yeah, that was already setting him up for failure because it was setting the bar way too high. So, yeah, it didn't exactly end quite like that. Though he did have a decent playing career. In fact, he had some serious successes. Now, a couple of times in his career, he was mostly a designated hitter, but for the most part in his career, he was a center fielder. In 2003, he finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting out in center field. He struck out a lot, but outside of that, he was a pretty good player. And it was possible that he could have gone to the All-Star game, but there simply wasn't room on the All-Star roster for him. Tampa Bay needed a representative, and nobody got voted in. It was between him and one other guy. Let me make sure that I do properly respect that other guy by remembering who he is. That's about the draft. Aubrey Huff, who actually was a pretty good Ray at the time. In fact, he gave a lot of teams problems. It is expected that either Aubrey Huff or Rocco Baldelli would be the representative for the American League, but because there were only 5 picks left, and apparently 4 of them had to be pitchers, and pitchers make up the vast majority of pretty much any roster, they ended up going with Lance Carter. Supposedly their closer, though he was not particularly good that year. Rocco Baldelli ended up getting left off the roster. It was up to Mike Scioscia because it was 2003. And in the Rookie of the Year ballot, he finished behind Angel Baroa. I think that's how you say it, not Angel. I think it's Angel. And Baroa. I cannot roll my R's, or I would attempt to do so. And then, of course, the winner that year was Hideki Matsui. He was a good ball player. I may be getting a little ahead of myself because I need to mention the fact that he was drafted 6th overall in year 2000. At 19 years old, he was drafted 6th overall by the Rays. That would be where the Joe DiMaggio comparisons come in. Because if you're drafted 6th overall, you got high expectations from everybody. I have no idea what that sound is. I'm going to I'm going to power through that sound anyway. So yeah, 2003 was his rookie year. He had a really good year. 2004, he had a pretty good year as well. He never made the All-Star game, but that was his other really good season. Both years he batted around 280 to 290, and his strikeouts went down, his home runs went up. Now, to start the season, he was only batting like 200 for the first couple of months, but Lou Piniella, who was the manager at the time, was like, "No, dude, we believe in you. We actually do think that you're a really good player." To put this into perspective, here are some of his stats. 2003, he won April and May Rookie of the Month. He had the 10th most hits in 2003 with 184. He was 8th in the league with 8 triples, which is always something you want. He was 7th in stolen bases. Now, here's where it gets really important. His play as a center fielder. In 2003, he was first in the American League with 4 double plays turned. In the outfield, you don't expect players to make double plays. 4. He led the American League with 4. That's how rare it is. Meaning that not only did he have to catch the ball probably deep in center field, he had to throw the ball back to the bag at second and nail the guy that ran too far. It takes a small, smart ball player to do that. He played 156 games that year. He only committed 5 errors. So those are just his stats, just across the board, meaning that he was probably the best center fielder he's one of the best, if not the best, center fielders in the American League that year as a rookie. So that's why Lou Piniella was like, yeah, we'll go ahead and give you a shot. There's nothing wrong with that. In 2004, after getting off to a sluggish start, he ended up having a pretty decent year. Now here's where things start to go in the wrong direction. When he was a younger man, he was in a car accident. He shattered his tibia and tore several ligaments. Well, a lot of those old injuries, I don't think that they were the same injuries, but you injure something, it's not uncommon for that injury to come back. Well, 2005, he was hurt the whole year, and it was his leg. Tendons kept acting up, and the rest of his career would really be marred by injury. Over the next 3 years between 2006 and 2008, and this is how I found out that 2008's when the Rays changed their name from the Devil Rays to the Rays. He played a grand total of 155 games. In those 3 seasons, he did not match his 1 season total his rookie year. That's for the regular season, however. The postseason in 2008, when the Rays just came out of nowhere and surprised everybody, while he only played 28 games during the regular season, in the postseason, there's some information there you might want to know. In the division series against the White Sox, yeah, he only played in 3 games, and he was only 1 for 9 and scored 2 runs. Against the Red Sox in the American League Championship Series, he had a 3-run home run that ended up being the elevating home run that took the Rays to the World Series. So that on its own is very important. He was one of the guys that got the Rays to the World Series at the most opportune time. And then in the World Series, which not everyone can say that they played in the World Series, he got to play 3 games in the World Series. His one hit was a home run. It was a solo shot. I don't know what game, but it was in the World Series. He hit a home run. It was his only hit in 6 at-bats, and he drew 1 walk. Due to injuries, and he was actually diagnosed with some kind of ailment that has some kind of protein deficiency. I won't pretend to understand anything regarding that. Hold on. Channelopathy, a protein abnormality that interferes with muscular function. What that means, I will not pretend to understand. That's something I need to ask my sister because she knows biology stuff. I, on the other hand, don't. But it was an issue, and they knew that he wasn't going to be an everyday starter. That he was... So, he was a free agent at that point, and the Red Sox went ahead and signed him for the year. But he only played 2009 with the Red Sox. He played 62 games. The outfield at that time for Boston was pretty stacked. This was during the Francona era in Boston, so they had a lot of offense all over the field. So he was mostly just a backup. And here are the different positions that he played. Center field, right field, left field, third base, designated hitter. There's not a whole lot you can really do about that. All you can really do is just make the best of what you got. And after the season, the Red Sox didn't re-sign him. He did, however, play in 2010 with the Rays. His injuries kept coming back over and over. He played in 10 games, and he did play with the Rays in the 2010 playoffs. Though he only played in 1 game where he had 3 at-bats. He struck out twice. He did not record a hit. And at that point, he decided just go ahead and retire because he's probably not going to play again. The Rays did not, however, let him go. A lot of times when I'm researching these managers, I don't actually know how they got from being a player to a manager. Well, apparently, a lot of his, or just having to sit on the bench because he was hurt, he actually knew how to talk to players, how to help other players improve. And the Rays caught wind of that, so they made him bench coach. A bench coach, not the bench coach. I want to make that clear. He was one of the coaches on the team. And all the way through 2018-ish, he was in the Rays organization as a manager. In fact, the Rays, under Kevin Cash, whenever they first hired him, they've had some managers end up being managers today. Not just go on to be managers. Like, they're still managers today. Rocco Baldelli is one of them. Charlie Montoya, who I covered a couple of weeks ago, he was under Kevin Cash. Rocco Baldelli was a manager, or he was a first base coach a lot of the time. And he was also a bench coach. Eventually, so the Minnesota Twins had an opening when they fired the manager that they had after a very disappointing 2018 season. 2017, the Twins win 100 games, and they're expected to just blow everybody's doors off. Well, 2018, they failed to deliver. So they fired the manager that they had. 2019, Rocco Baldelli comes in and delivers. He brings Minnesota to a 101 win season, which is always good. In his first season as a manager, which not a lot of people can do this, he won the division as a rookie manager. He won 100 games as a rookie manager. Alex Cora, Aaron Boone, and I can't think of any other managers, at least currently managing, that have done that. His first season as a manager, he wins 101 games. They got swept by the Yankees in the division series. They were the first team to get swept with 100 wins in the first round of the postseason. Look, things happen. You can't always... It happens. And apparently he's not one of those, like, I'm going to fight you types, because he only got ejected twice that year. Something that you'll see is that a lot of rookie managers will feel the need to prove themselves, so they're a bit more likely to get angry at the umps when they don't agree with the call at the plate. That can be a bad strike call. It can be he was safe. It can be he didn't drop the ball. He was transferring the ball from his glove to his hand. There's a lot of things. He's only ejected twice. And then last year, during the age of ye old virus, he went 36-24. So, to put that into perspective, they won the division last year. Also, I mentioned that the Twins won 101 in 2019. That's a winning record of 623. That 36 wins they had last year, that's a winning percentage of a flat 600. So while the win percentage went down a little bit, when you think about it, it's negligible because he still won the division, still took the Twins to the playoffs. They were the best team in the Central, probably either Central division. And in his first two seasons, he won the division. His first 2 years as a manager. Yes, there's a lot of talent in Minnesota. Yes, a lot of it is very offensive based. He's got some pitchers too. Now this year, look, it's the middle of May, so yeah, they're 9 games under 500 right now. Don't expect that to last. He hasn't been ejected yet. In his whole career, he's only been ejected 3 times. So, yeah, as a manager, he's done a pretty good job thus far. So while his playing career may have been a bit too high on the expectations list, as a manager, I don't know that anyone really expected him to be all that, let alone with a bag of chips. And he has been all that with a bag of chips. All that's missing is a postseason win. It's still fully possible that the Twins could come back from this poor start to the season. The 2019 Nationals did it. And end up making the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the division, but it's still possible they can make the playoffs. Don't sleep on them. Just a couple more things before I try to disappear. In 2019, he was the American League Manager of the Year. I was really bragging on how how well he did as a rookie manager, and I stand by that. Well, the American League thought that too, so they gave him the American League Manager of the Year award. And then last year, he finished 5th. Yes, there's 15 managers in the American League. Well, if you finish in the bottom 3, you're on the hot seat. He was in the top 5. And frankly, you only really get any kind of recognition if you're in the top 5, sometimes top 3. And if he gets the Twins going back in the right direction, then yeah, he's probably going to be a candidate for Manager of the Year again. So those are my thoughts on Rocco Baldelli. And if you'd like to let me know your thoughts, you can do so down in the comments below. Or if you're listening on my podcast, come on over to my YouTube channel and let me know it in the comments down below. With that being said, thank you for listening. Cheers until next time.